everyone, welcome to Essex Sport, the Facebook page. My name is Arlene and we're going to have a 30-minute yoga session today. If you want to make sure that you've got plenty of space to move around freely for your arms and your legs, and that your floor is not slippery, it's nice to have a yoga mat or a Pilates mat, something cushioning and relaxed to connect with. If you would also like some water, feel free to grab some, and you might just do movements today that feel comfortable for you. So just work in your range and you can rest at any time. Okay, great. So if you want to come to lay down on your mat and we'll get started. And as you lay back, feel free to grab any blankets or cushions, and you can place them under your head or underneath your hips, or sometimes it's nice to have a rolled up blanket underneath your knees if you feel any tension in your lower back. So just check in for your starting point if you'd like to have your legs straight or to bend your knees. And you can make little adjustments to feel comfortable in your arms and your positioning there. Good, so as you come to relax back into the mat, just come to sense now your breath in its natural state. So notice the rhythms of your breath, your inhalation, the temperature of the air as it enters and where it enters. And when you exhale, sense the places where you connect with the ground, your touching points, the support, so you can relax. Your next breath, just feel it rise the same. Notice the parts of your body that just naturally move, and breathe without effort, just a relaxed breath. And as you exhale, soften into the mat, relaxing again through those touching points of support. So you can let go and relax your body. And just come to take this time to be present in the moment. Notice the rise and fall of your breath, and not to worry if your mind wanders, which is natural, but just try to observe the sensations of your body, the movement of your skin, of parts of your body as you breathe, and as you exhale, relaxing. Make little adjustments to feel 5% or 10% more comfortable, so your body feels in alignment, either side of your spine. And with each exhalation, your shoulders, perhaps your arms and legs can relax into the mat, into that space behind you. Good, so just one more grounding breath here, coming into this moment and into your body, and just helping your heart rate to soften, to relax. And when you're ready, just very slowly bend your knees. You can bring movements gently to your body at your own pace, no rush. And you can soften make movements in your arms or your shoulders to feel comfortable. And once you have your knees bent and your feet on the floor, just notice how you feel in connection with the ground, your relationship with the ground, the back of your head, your shoulders and arms and your feet. And then just very slowly lift your heels off the floor and just notice how that might feel in your lower back or your hips, and if it changes the relationship you have with the ground. And then soften your heels down, and just do that twice more at your own pace. When you're ready, lift your heels so the balls of your feet stay on the ground, and then lower your heels down. Good, and once more at your own pace, gently lifting your heels, then lowering down again. Good. And then we'll bring one leg towards our chest. So I'm going to bring my right thigh towards my stomach and hold my shin, or just check in. You can hold behind your thigh or your knee. And just feel as if you're, notice if you're lifting up against the floor towards the ceiling, or can you relax in your touching points through your hips and your shoulders and your lower back. So it might feel kind of even right side to left. And we'll start to bring a little rotation to our thigh in the hip socket. And just go in the direction that feels comfortable. So you can change direction, which side or which direction feels more comfortable or nicer, and find the range that feels comfortable, and just explore movements that feel nice. So you can lower your leg if the rotation makes any discomfort in your lower back. Good, but just observe how, though you're moving your thigh in the hip socket, there's a relationship still with the ground where you touch, and maybe that creates a little massage effect for your lower back or hips. Good. So we'll come to a stillness with the rotation, and open your knee out to the side. Rest your ankle on your thigh, and just stay there for a moment, and just notice any little adjustments to feel in alignment for your hips. And then very slowly just start to kind of sway side to side. So you're just kind of rocking your knee towards the floor on the right, and the sole of your foot towards the floor on the left. and let your upper body feel relaxed and comfortable. And through this, you might feel a little release in your lower back or your hips. Good, and then we'll come back to a stillness and place our right foot on the floor and just check in. How does the right side of your body feel compared to the left side of your body? And how does it feel in relationship to the ground? And then we'll do the same movements on the other side. So bringing your left thigh towards your stomach. Stay there. Feel as you draw your thigh towards your stomach, the relationship with the ground, if your hips feel even, any little adjustments you'd like to make. And then start to bring that rotation in, your thigh rotating in the hip socket and in either direction. And just observe maybe the range is similar to the right side or different, and just notice this, but not to bring judgment to it, just observe. Good, so just a few rotations here, and notice your connection with the ground. How does it feel as you move your leg? Does it feel a connection or a relationship with your lower back change and your hips in contact with the ground? Good, and then we'll keep our knee bent, rotate from your thigh to bring your knee out to the side and rest your ankle on your right thigh. And once you're in position and you feel in a comfortable alignment, you can start that little rock side to side, just gently swaying. And as you do, notice if you feel any tension in your shoulders or the back of your neck or your jaw, and just see if you can relax there. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to a stillness in the center. You can place both feet on the floor and just check in and notice how you feel in your shoulders, the relationship you have with the ground, any changes in your lower back or your hips. And then we'll bring both of our thighs towards our stomach here, and just check in if you'd like to bring movement to massage your back by imagining there's pencils on your knees and drawing circles on the ceiling, or you can bring your forehead up towards your knees and just draw your thighs towards your stomach. Just see what feels nice, a little bit of stillness or movement. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll roll to one side or to rock up from here. Good, and if you come to all fours on your hands and knees, you might face the long edge of your mat. We're just going to have a little, we might use the mat. You'll use the mat for your shins and your knees. Good, so from all fours, just start to gently widen the space between your knees. So we're going to do kind of a opener for our inner thighs or our hip space. So you're welcome to stay up on all fours. And you can do this as well by resting on your forearms and just check in. Sometimes if you have lower back issues, it's nice to bring your toes closer than your knees, but you can check in if you like to practice this from kind of a large range, having your shins parallel to each other, so your ankles and your knees are about the same distance apart. So I'll just change a little for you so you can see this from the front as well. Good, so I'm just widening the space between my knees. And again, you can stay up on your forearms, on your arms if that's more comfortable. Come down to your forearms, or you might rest on your forehead on your fists or the ground itself. Good, so we'll just stay there for another round of breath and just see if that stillness can to create ease a little bit. If it feels a bit intense, definitely bring your knees back towards each other slowly, so that you're just kind of letting your body relax, but without having discomfort arise or extreme tension, but just where you can ease. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll come out. So gently lift your head if you're towards the ground. You can lift up to all fours and just slowly start to bring your knees towards each other again. And once you're back in all fours, we'll just start to rock forwards and backwards. And that can be quite small, but you might make it larger with your bottom coming to your heels. And you might flex your wrists and your fists. Good. And when you're ready, back to all fours on hands and knees, and you can settle into your shoulders. Good, we'll do a little rotation from side to side. So as you inhale, slowly rotate to one side. So I'm going to rotate to my right, reach my right arm up to the side. You could look up at your fingers if that's comfortable, and just feel your chest start to open. And as you exhale, lower your arm, slide your hand between wrist and knee, and if it's comfortable, you can start to lower your body towards the floor. You're welcome to stay more elevated, just wherever that's comfortable. If you want to come into that rotation deeper, you can bend your other arm's elbow. My left elbow I'm going to bend, and I can even turn my head to look upwards towards the ceiling to deepen the rotation from here. But just relax the side of your neck and between your shoulder blades. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll very slowly uncurl, come up, back to all fours, and do the other side when you're ready. So slow rotation, reach your fingers long, opening that chest space, nice openness there. When you're ready, lowering your arm, slide your hand between your left wrist and knee. Maybe stay there, option again to come down or deepen that rotation with your hand resting on your tailbone or looking up towards the ceiling. But just see here, does that feel nice in the side of your neck, your jaw, between your shoulder blades? A little bit of release perhaps as you relax towards the ground. Good. And when you're ready, we'll slowly start to uncurl. And you can come back up to all fours on hands and knees. Just let your shoulders feel relaxed. And then we'll tuck our toes, bottom to your heels. And imagine your hands are kind of soft into wet, warm clay. But they're just relaxing into the ground. And then as you exhale, you can very slowly start to lift your tailbone up, come to downward facing dog. And you're welcome to hold in stillness. You might bring a little movements to your down dog, but bending one knee at a time. You can have your knees bent as much as feels comfortable to feel length in your spine. Child's pose at any time if that's preferable. Another option in your downward facing dog is to lift a leg. For flying dog, you can even add a bend in your knee and lengthen your leg and do that a few times. On the same leg, as an option, you can do the same on the other leg. Coming through flying dog, then knee to chest, and lengthening away. Good. Or you might like the little bicycle, so just make it your own. Explore some movements here in your downward facing dog that just kind of create ease in your lower back, as well as your sides, your neck, your shoulders. You can adjust the placement of your hands or how close your feet are to your hands to find that sweet spot where it feels comfortable. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll come to forward fold. So if you're in child's pose, you can come up through all fours, and then we'll walk your hands to your feet or feet to hands, and come to find your forward fold or Utanasana. Where is that comfortable for you today? So option to bend your knees and rest your forearms on your thighs. You might have straighter legs, your hands resting on your legs or towards the floor. We'll stay here for a few breaths and just notice how that feels. If you want to come into that deeper, you might bend your elbows and hold on to the opposite forearm, and you can bring your forearms overhead. Or you can even bring your forearms behind your calf muscles to fold from your hip space and come closer. So just wherever that feels nice for you. No pressure to come into it at a certain place. Just where it feels right for your body today, in this moment. Good, one more breath here. And then when you're ready, a little bend in your knees. Slowly start to draw your navel inward and fold your spine up to standing. At your own pace. Head up last. Lovely. When you're upright, you can give everything a little shake. You might shrug your shoulders a little bit if that's comfortable. Okay, so we're going to do a few arm movements with an optional balance. So if the mat creates resistance, you're welcome to come off of your mat or stand near a wall or somewhere with a solid support. Okay, so just start with your feet about hip width apart if that's comfortable. You're welcome to turn your toes a bit out to the side if that's more comfortable for the hip space. Good, but just as you settle into this stance, just observe the weight evenly throughout your feet. Your shoulders are over your hips, and like the top of your head almost lengthens up to the ceiling. And as you imagine that lengthening upwards, it naturally engages your navel inward. Okay, so just bring one arm out to the side. So I'm going to start with my right arm and then out to the side in a half T, and then rotate through my shoulder to turn my palm inward. And as your arm starts to extend upwards, just stay there for a moment. Your fingers lengthen. You can feel your side body start to grow. Good. And then gently bend your elbow of your arm that's extended upward. Place your hand between your shoulder blades. You can start to lengthen your elbow up. The other hand will bend your elbow, hand on your lower back. You can even slide your hand on your back towards your tailbone, or you might bend your elbow further and start to slide your fingertips up your spine. Maybe your fingertips start to come towards each other, but there's no pressure to have them touch. Just observe if that happens naturally. Okay. And as you stay here, you might think about your elbows. The arm that's up towards the ceiling, it's almost like your elbow lengthens upwards, but without bringing any tension to your shoulder. And the same with your elbow. The hand that's behind you, your elbow might lengthen towards the ground. Good, so the optional balance here, you can shift the weight to the balls of your feet and lift your heels just a little bit off the floor. You might lift higher and just very slowly progress through, so at maximum up on the balls of your feet, but no pressure to come to a certain height. Good, so another round of breath here. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll slowly come out, so you can start to open your arms up into one arm extended up, one arm towards the floor, then transition through your arms into a T as you lower your heels slowly to the ground if you're elevated. Good, and then we'll turn our palms to face up by rotating through your shoulders, and just gently turn your head to gaze up. And just stay there for a moment so you can feel the breath opening through your chest space, relax the side of your neck. And then as you exhale, chin to chest, rotate through your shoulders, palms turn down, and you can even deepen that rotation by bringing your thumbs towards the floor. Good, and then do that once more, rotating through your shoulders, palms turn up, you can gaze up. It's almost like with your arms in this position, your rib cage can expand out to the side with your breath. And as you exhale, slowly bring chin to chest, rotate palms down, or even to the space behind you with your thumbs towards the floor, if that's comfortable. Good, and then we'll come back upright, relax your arms down. You can give everything a little shake. Before we do the other side with the arm movements, we'll inhale our arms up, exhale, sit as if to chair pose, let your arms relax down, and do that again at your own pace, inhaling up, exhaling, relaxing. Good, once more. Good, great. And then again, you can make little adjustments back to our comfortable stance. Perhaps that's hip width, shoulders over hips, top of the head lengthens up. Good, we'll do the arm movements with the optional balance again. So the other arm, I'm going to lift my left arm up this time. Good, and rotate through my shoulder to turn my palm towards the middle of my body. Good, other hand relaxing on my lower back. You can slide your hands to your tailbone, or you might start to slide your hands, fingertips up along your spine, and the other arm that's extended up, bend your elbow, hand between your shoulder blades. And just check in there for a moment. Let your shoulders have time to kind of ease to that space that's comfortable, and you might feel like your arm that's extended upwards, your elbows kind of reaching to the ceiling, and the other arm might feel like it's kind of relaxing towards the floor. And again, no pressure, and it's natural for it to feel differently right side to left. Optional balance, and just come into it at your own pace, shifting the weight to the balls of your feet, little lift of your heels, lift as high as feels comfortable. Good. And just stay there for a moment. Just notice how the arm positioning might feel in your alignment, and where does it create a bit of openness or change in the holding of your body. The arm positioning is called cow-faced arms. Good, so when you're ready, you'll start to extend one arm up towards the ceiling, one arm towards the floor, and transition your arms to your T as you lower your heels back slowly to the ground. And again, just at your own pace. And then we'll start to do the rotation of our arms. Inhale, gazing up, palm facing towards the ceiling. Or you can even rotate a little bit further with your little finger up towards the ceiling if that's comfortable. And then gently rotating, palms down, bringing chin towards your chest. You can continue the rotation, thumb towards the floor if that's comfortable. Good, and once more with the same again with your arms. Inhale, rotating through your shoulders as your palms turn up and looking up gently. It could be just with your eyes or turning your head if that's comfortable. Then exhale, chin to chest, rotating, palms turn down, and just feel where that creates a bit of space. Good. And we'll relax our arms, and you can give everything a little shake. Good, so we're going to practice triangle pose next, or Utanasana. So just facing comfortably the water edge of your mat and step your feet about hip width apart. So I'm going to start with my right leg. So if you rotate from your thigh and turn your right toes out to the side, and you can start with your hands on your hips, just to feel that nice alignment of shoulders over your hips, and then just take a few bends of your right knee, and you can take that as a chance to check in if the amount of space between your legs is comfortable. You can widen or shorten that, and is your heel comfortable, to feel comfortable tracking for your knee, so it's kind of coming towards the middle of your foot. So if you're tracking a bit towards your big toe or your little toe, you can make those little adjustments in your heel to find that comfortable positioning. Good, so the next bend, when it's comfortable, keep your knee bent, and we'll bring our arms up into a T, and then turn your palms to face forward by rotating through your shoulders. Good, then slowly start to reach your right fingertips away from you, and just stop wherever that's comfortable, and you can see where you'd like to turn your head and your arms lengthen. If it feels intense, you can bend your right elbow and rest your form on your thigh. If it's comfortable and you want to come deeper, you can continue hinging down until your fingertips are might come at maximum towards the floor. And if you want more from there, you can start to straighten your right leg, so you draw your thigh up towards your hip space. So just come wherever that's comfortable. You can deepen your connection by rotating a bit. You're kind of revolving your chest to look up towards your left hand. Good, so just stay there for a few breaths in your triangle pose. Just notice where that creates a little bit of ease. Maybe you feel that on the outside edge of your left hip, your rib cage, your chest, as your arms lengthen away. Good, one more breath here, and then come out at any time. When you're ready, reach your left fingertips up, drawing you back upright. And as you come to stand in the center, turn both toes to face forward, bend your elbows, palms facing forward, or you might place your hands on your hips, see what you prefer. We'll do 3 rotations of our hips in one direction, and just see if that creates a little bit of ease in your sides, your hip, your lower back, and then 3 in the other direction. Good. Lovely. shake out your arms and legs, you can adjust the stance between them, and we'll set up for triangle pose on the other side. So rotating from your thigh, turn your left toes or the other leg's toes away from you. A couple bends in your knees just to check in. Is that comfortable? Helps to wake up the hip space, wake up our knee joints. Good. And make those little adjustments. Space between your legs or where your heel is. Maybe you've got a few cracks in as your joints waking up. Good. And then we'll keep our knee bent, setting up for triangle pose. Shoulders approximately over hips. It's fine to have your hips face wherever they're comfortable and just have that nice alignment of shoulders over hips. Arms come up and open up to that T. Rotate through your shoulders as your palms turn forward. Lead with your left fingertips to reach forward. But there's almost a sense that your fingers are lengthening in opposite directions. And again, just come into it slowly and notice where it's comfortable. So stop at any point, check in if you'd like to bring forearm to thigh, arms staying straight, and just giving you the options. You don't have to come through them quickly. But if you do come comfortably to the floor or place your hand on a block or a book here, option to start to straighten your leg and draw your thigh up towards the hip space. And you can look up at your fingertips here as well. Good. So few breaths here, ease out at any time, but just feel where that kind of lengthens your chest, releases your side body. You can feel in a nice alignment of your head with your heart here. Good. And then when you're ready to come out, we'll reach our left fingertips up, slowly hinging back up. Good. Once you're upright, we'll turn both toes to face forward. Welcome to shorten or lengthen your stance. Hands on your hips. Little rotation of your hips in your one direction 3 times. And the other direction 3 times. Good. Lovely. So we'll keep our legs in a straddle position. You're welcome to adjust the stance. Check in if you like to have your feet parallel the sides of the mat, or if it's more comfortable to have your legs turned out in a diagonal a little bit for your hips. Good. So just keep your hands on your hips, and we'll start to imagine that there's a string on your breastbone. It just starts to draw your breastbone or your sternum upwards. And you can turn your head or your eyes to gaze upwards or both. And just check in with how that feels. So avoid any tension on your lower back. It's kind of a upper back bend, so it's a lift upwards of your rib cage away from your hips as your breastbone gazes upwards or draws upwards. And you can feel how that might create space here near your collarbones, in the front of your chest. Good. If it's more comfortable for your hands, you might start to slide your hands onto your lower back so you're touching your tailbone. You can even interlace your fingers, or you might rotate through your shoulders to lengthen your arms, like your knuckles are kind of reaching towards the floor. Good, so one more breath here. And then when you're ready, very slowly come back upright. You can keep your arms as they are. Relax the sides of your neck. Good, imagine the top of your head starting to touch the ceiling, lengthening up, but your chin stays parallel to the floor. So again, hands can be on your hips, behind you, or out into a T. And then very slowly start to fold in your hip sockets to come forward. So stop at any point here, just wherever that feels comfortable to maintain that long spine. So at maximum, you might have the top of your head lengthened towards the floor. There's no pressure to come to that point. Just notice where it's comfortable. You're welcome to bend your knees a bit too if that feels more comfortable. So just make this your own. Make it feel where you can hold the posture with ease. So no pressure to come deeply. Just come where it feels nice. And you might start to feel where that creates a little bit of ease. So the top of your head just relaxes away from you, but you might feel a little bit of ease in your lower back, perhaps the backs of your legs. Good. One more breath here. And so we'll stay in our forward folded position. You can bend your knees to reach the floor more comfortably. So if you relax your arms and then start to bring your hands towards the floor. So again, maybe you bend your knee, keep a long spine and neck here. If you have any yoga blocks or big dictionary, you can place it here on the floor for support. And we'll keep our one hand on the ground across from your nose. So I'm going to place my left hand on the floor and then start to bend my right elbow so I can have my hand on my hip. And then just start to rotate from your waist towards the right side or whichever hand's on your hip. Good, safe there if that's comfortable. If you want more, you can open your arm into that little half T so your palm's facing the same direction as your navel. Good. If you want to come into that deeper, you can look up towards the ceiling, but just look wherever that's comfortable for your neck so there's no tension. Good. And perhaps that creates a little nice rotation in your lower back to ease out any tension there, but also nice openness in your chest. Good. And then when you're ready, very slowly rotate back. So you're bringing the hand that's been extended. So for me, that's my right hand towards the floor. And we'll place the other hand on your hip. And just when you're ready, rotate to the other side. when you find that place where it's comfortable, you can start to open your arm out to that half T and just notice how much you'd like to come into that. So it might be different on this side, and notice where you like to turn your head to look. Good. So one more breath here. Lovely. And when you're ready, very slowly rotate back to center. You can place your hands on your hips out into a T, or more intensity overhead, shoulder width. Push your feet, slowly hinge back up to standing. You might have a little bend in your knees for more comfort in your lower back. Good. When you're upright, bring your arms up overhead. You can take a little upper back bend here as an option, or just gaze up with your eyes and feel your fingers lengthen upwards as your rib cage lifts away from your hips. Good. Two more breaths here. Come out at any time. Good. And when you're ready, slowly come back up. Open your arms out to the side. You can step your feet together. Give everything a little shake. And then back to that hip width stance. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sit as if to chair. Let your arms relax down. And again, inhaling up. Exhaling, relaxing. And once more. Good. Lovely. Okay, great. We're going to come down to the ground, into all fours on hands and knees. And just as we did at the start, we're going to find a little rotation for our hips. So I'll start with my right leg. So if you lift your right knee off the floor and start to rotate your thigh in the hip socket, and you can go in either direction. That might be a small or large movement. So if it's larger, you can bring your knee out to the side and almost like a frog leg, lengthen your leg behind you. Good. And again, you can do that in either direction. Good. Okay. And then we'll keep our right knee bent and bring your right knee onto the floor behind your right wrist. We're just setting up for a pigeon pose. You can bring your heel underneath your groin. If you want more, flex your toes and start to draw your toes in the direction of your left wrist. At maximum, your shin parallel to the front of your mat. Good. Once you're in position, feel your hips level. You can start to bring your left knee down, straight behind your shoulder. If that's uncomfortable, you can rotate from your thigh a bit so your knee's out to the side, or place some cushions or support underneath your right hip. And just stay there if that's comfortable. And just very slowly think about keeping your hips level. You might start to journey forward. And you can rest your chin on your fists there. You might rest your forehead on two fists or one towards the ground. So just make yourself comfortable. And just notice where it feels nice. If it feels like you're trying to lift up against gravity and it starts to become uncomfortable, just to make little motions to feel at ease. And if this feels like a bit much, you can do the same thing laying on your back as we did at the start with your ankle resting on your opposite thigh, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. Okay. One more breath here. If you're comfortable, just ease out at any time. Good. And then when you're ready, very slowly walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Very slowly push back up to all fours on hands and knees. And you can just start to rock forwards and backwards as we did earlier. And that can be quite small range of motion. You can even bring a little circle to the side and other direction as well. Good. Good. So we'll come back to all fours and then just find the rotation for your left thigh in the hip socket. So like you're drawing circles on the floor with your knee. And again, that could be a large circle with your knee extending behind you and then coming out to the side and in either direction. Good. Lovely. Now when you're ready, we'll come set up for a pigeon pose on the other side. So just come into it at your own pace, but your left knee bends, comes to rest on the floor behind your left wrist, heel under your groin, or flex your toes, draw your toes closer to your right wrist if desired. Right knee relaxes, maybe rotating, and hips stay even, slowly start to journey forward. So just come to relax. I'll just show you the option on your back. So it's the same thing on your back. So just stay here for a few breaths in your pigeon pose. But if it's more comfortable, you can do the same thing, turning your knee out to the side, resting your ankle on your opposite thigh, and lifting your leg up. So it's really similar position, just on your back. Good. So one more breath here in your pigeon pose. Which option feels nice for you? And then when you're ready, very slowly walk your hands back under your shoulders. Gently push yourself up. Good, and we'll come again to find that rocking forwards and backwards. Maybe you draw that little circle on the ceiling with your tailbone by bringing a rotation to the right or to the left. Ease out any tension. Good, and then when you're ready, just come to relax in child's pose if that's comfortable, or if you prefer, you can relax on your back and give your body a little roll out. So maybe child's pose is nice, or if you prefer, lay on your back. So find a little rocking or a little happy baby pose. Good. Or just a few moments of stillness. Just turn inward now for a few moments to relax in child's pose or in a little happy baby pose. Good. And if you're doing a little bit of movement, you might start to slow down and find a little position, a comfortable position to relax for a moment. Child's pose, see if you like to stay, or transition to a comfortable position to relax. And as you come to relax, just sense the space surrounding you and notice where you have support of the ground. You can feel with each inhalation where the air enters and the parts of your body that begin to move. And as you exhale and find that bit of stillness, you might start to feel lightness arise in your body. With each breath, you've drawn the lightness of a cloud. And as you exhale, you soften and relax and feel lightness arise in your feet, your legs, your hands and arms. The lightness of a cloud arises with each breath in your lower back, your shoulders, your jaw, the muscles of your face, your eyes, the top of your head. And you feel almost like you're coming to float like a cloud with the lightness of your breath in your limbs, your cells, supported by the ground, the energy of the earth, allowing to spring within you that sense of lightness, of floating, of peace. So please, you're welcome to stay in your relaxation or your introspective moment for a few more minutes, however long it feels right for you. And when you are ready to come out, just very slowly start to explore into space and make little movements to reconnect with your body. But I'll leave you here now to enjoy your relaxation, and thank you for practicing yoga with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful and peaceful rest of your day.